Hello, everyone, and welcome to 10 Seconds, the XC Off-Road Cast. And this is the Quarantine Files. I'm Rodney Tomlin, and today, my guest, Josh Strang, former two-time GNCC motorcycle champion. And, of course, we're going to have a chance to talk with Josh straight from his training headquarters in North Carolina as he is preparing himself for the rest and the remainder of the 2020 season whenever that finally gets underway. We want to take this opportunity, though, to say thanks to a few folks, including our friends at Teely Energy Racing. We'll say thanks to Todd and those guys for helping support, of course, 10 Seconds, the XC Off-Road Cast, along with Phoenix Racing, motorcycles and ATVs and GNCC, ATV motocross. They're doing supercross. They're doing everything. Pretty cool thing to see HRC there with those guys, Red Riders, I guess, if you will. And also want to say thanks to DP Brakes, of course, Larry Mills and the folks over there. What's stopping you? I want to take this opportunity as well to tip my hat to Ladon Racing and also XC Parts Solutions, which is a division of Land Mills XC Racing. And of course, they have all of your great products that you need for GNCC Racing, Moose Racing, and Parts Unlimited products right there, trackside, next to the Moose Racing transporters. We say hello and welcome to Josh Strang, who is, I'm going to guess, either in a garage or in your basement, or a basement in your garage, or garage in your basement.
In the basement right now. So about probably November last year, at the end of the season, the wife and I decided to quit the gym and build our own little gym here in the basement, just because it was easier for her with Maverick and that sort of stuff. And the gym we were at was actually really expensive, so I like saving money. And we ended up buying some stuff, and it's actually been really good this year, especially now with the quarantine. All the gyms are closed around town, so we can get in and do our workouts, and everything's good.
So what kind of equipment do you have? I see you got the bicycle there.
Yeah, I got a bicycle here to kind of a thing, I guess. It's taken off the last 18 months, I guess. They call it a smart trainer, and you can get on and you have this app called Zwift, and you can pretty much ride, but you're on it's like almost like a video game.
Okay.
But
there we go.
See that?
No way. That's what you're watching whenever you're pedaling.
So
hold it and pedal it and let me see it, or can you hold the phone?
See if I can multitask without crashing my stationary bicycle.
So do you have to turn, or does it turn itself for you?
No, so pretty much it just follows the road, but it'll give you grades, and so if you're going climbing a mountain, it'll give you the resistance like you're climbing. So it's as real as you're going to get without getting outside on the road. So it's really good for the winter time. And then like at the moment, if it's rainy or whatever and you have a hard time getting outside, it's good for stuff like that too. So
right.
It's not, I hate exercising inside or on the bicycle inside, but when it's rainy or when I have to get something done, it's good to have in the basement to be able to do it.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome, man. I mean, a lot of folks, like you say, pay those expensive membership fees to go to the gym. So did they freak out whenever you quit going?
No, we just canceled our membership. It was not a big deal. So we had some friends that were a little upset that we stopped going because it was the CrossFit community. So you kind of go there in the afternoon, hang out with your friends, do your workout, and head out. So we there's a few people that we haven't hung out with as much since we stopped going, but I believe my results have got better since I've stopped doing it. So in the end, I'm not getting paid to go to the gym and do CrossFit. I'm getting paid to race, and I feel like my results have improved.
They have, and I saw that last year. We'll talk about this year and everything. And I don't even have a format, so I just called you up to talk, man. To be honest with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you mentioned that your results. Last year, I could tell there was a new fire in you and everything. And your results, they weren't consistently well but I could see that there was still some desire in there for you. And then, you go out and I don't know what, I can't remember how everything went last year, but I mean, Jordy would go out and do real well and then he'd fall off. And, you guys just seemed like both of you were pretty hungry and both of you really had some good things going with Kawasaki. But this year, man, I mean, it's like the switch is flipped, I think, in both of you boys, to be honest with you, to the speed, the challenge, consistency that you guys have got in these first 3 rounds, I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's been good. Last year was good. I don't know. It didn't take long for me to get used to the bike. I'm not sure about Jordan, but it's like we're racing against. I mean, Caleb's been on the KTM for what, 12 years, maybe his whole career, I guess.
Yeah, he's been on the KTM, I mean, I know since he's a kid.
Yeah, so I know bikes change over the years, but there's just that the feeling you have when you're used to a bike. They stay really similar over the years. So not saying not saying that's the reason, but just saying to get switched from a European bike back to a Japanese bike. Although I was used to it, I think it really just took a little bit longer to gel overall with, and just be able to, I think, maybe find the confidence to run the speed that I feel like we're running now. So I don't know. This year has been good for me and Jordan, and then just I don't know, just putting in the work, having a lot of fun actually, and I think that helps a lot too.
It does seem like you're having, I don't know, I mean, is the race, I mean, obviously it's coming easier, you're doing better, that part of it's going to make it obviously funner, but I mean, there's something that had to happen, I think, that other than maybe the training at home with your new personal gym or whatever, I mean, was there anything different in this off season? I mean, that has been in the past. I know last year there was a lot of changes, and the years before, I'm sure there was a certain degree of what I would say pressure from Rockstar Husky. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the way that I would witness it anyway, from an outside looking in. Those programs right there seem to be a real high pressure situation for the riders.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot less pressure on myself now to do well, and I mentioned it earlier in the year at Big Buck, I guess, where ultimately we're at the races to sell product, motorcycles product, anything that we get sponsored by and free stuff. We're there to sell it. So if you can't win, then you still have to put your best foot forward to try and sell the products. And I feel like when I was a kid, yeah, I guess I'm older now. So when I was a kid 10 years ago or whatever, all I thought I had to do was win to be able to, and maybe I wasn't even that interested in selling the product. I just thought I had to race. So where now you look at it, I've had a house payment now since 2011. So I've owned my own house. So you have payments, and you realize what the regular person that goes to the race has to pay for during the week. So you want to try and sell them products that are going to be worth it for them. And I don't know, I just feel like I try and make the sponsors feel like they're getting what they're putting into our program.
And, I have to think, I mean, not that Rockstar Husky, I mean, they were all about selling motorcycles and having the best brand motorcycle, and not that Kawasaki isn't, but the beauty, I think, of what is going on at Kawasaki is that they kind of handed that program off. It's a factory-based program, but they also let other outside sponsors and influences come in. So, I mean, you're selling, like, for instance, on the Monster Energy Kawasaki that you ride, you're supported mainly by Babbitt's Online in the GNCC efforts, from what I understand. So that's the people that you're out there to represent.
Yeah, so Babbitt's Online is a motorcycle shop, and they're selling. So we're supported by Kawasaki. Babbitt's Online sell multiple brands, but we will push the Kawasaki brand at the races and that sort of stuff. But if the regular customer doesn't want to buy a Kawasaki, then he can still go to Babbitt's, or he or she can still go to Babbitt's and buy whatever they want. So, yeah, that program has been around for ages, and it's been arena cross as well. And I think it's just worked. Babbitt's and Monster Energy and Kawasaki have just gelled together to have a good program out. And it's really, I just feel like, well, for one, Freddie and Joey are on the team, and they just, like if someone comes up and wants to talk to them, they've been around long enough where they have enough stories to tell to keep someone entertained, or they just enjoy hearing other people's stories. And that's, I think, what's important. And I feel like that's what our team brings to the races that maybe the higher pressure teams don't, is just a little bit of family atmosphere, maybe a little bit friendlier. I'm not sure, you know?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it is more of a down to earth atmosphere, it seems like. I mean, not that obviously those programs don't work. I mean, KTM's proven it time again,
Yeah.
Husky's proven it time and time again. But you know, I think that there has to be the element that you're talking about. I think especially whenever you reach uh the part in your career, you know, I mean, like Freddie, he's older, he was a motocrosser, he came from that high pressure scene, you know, and he brought a lot of high pressure to the GNCC racing world, but he also figured out a happy medium in there where he could be a normal person and be approachable and people could come up and talk to him, you know. I mean, you seem so much more approachable to talk to now than what you did, and I'm not taking anything away from, you know, the Rockstar team or anything, but you seem more approachable. You seem more at ease than what you did then. Like you're not nearly as guarded.
Yeah. And I just think that I've realized this. I wish I could have realized this years ago in my career, that racing isn't everything. It's like when we leave the track, I've got another life here at home that I really enjoy, but I also really enjoy dirt bikes. And if I spent 10 years enjoying it, but taking it maybe way too serious, and not like getting little things out of going to the races and enjoying the process. So I don't know, just the last 2 years at Kawasaki, I've just really tried to. I want to do the best I can, but I also just try to enjoy it, man. Never know when the coronavirus is going to stop everything, and none of us are going to get paid. So you got to enjoy it while you can, because especially this job doesn't last forever.
Right. And I mean, that's pretty funny that you say that, because I remember in an interview earlier this year, I can't remember, it was round 1 or 2, you were talking with Johnny Gallagher, and you said something, you made a remark. Obviously you haven't been here as long as he has, but I mean, in the big picture, grand scheme of things, you've been here for quite some time. And I didn't recognize or realize just exactly how long until you made that statement. Then I got, wow, it has been a long
Yeah.
time. I mean, we watched you grow up and grow into a man.
Yes, and yeah. So I was over here when I was 18, turning 19. So 2007, I moved over here. So I think it was my 14th season, and I did one season on the West Coast. So my 13th GNCC season, and it's. I was thinking the other day, I don't know what I was thinking about, but pretty much all of my driver's license life, I've been driving on the wrong side of the road here in the US. So I spent the first 17 years of my life driving on the right side of the road, and left side of the road, right hand side of the car, and then the next 14, 15 years I've been driving on the opposite side. So it is almost half my life that I've been over here now. It's crazy to think about like that.
It really is. And it has been half of probably your true memory life. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, where the memory sticks. So uh, that is a very interesting aspect. But I mean, you made it home here. I mean, I don't think that was your intention when you first came here, was it?
I don't know. I really wanted to get out. I feel like maybe not so much now, but back then, a lot of Australians, they didn't want to leave their country. They just want to see the world. Like they wanted to get out and do whatever, like do what they wanted to do. They wanted to get outside of the country and go see the world. And that's what I wanted to do. Originally I wanted to go to Europe and race, but it just didn't work out. And the opportunity came when Glenn and Watsy were here in the US, and the opportunity came up, and I took it, you know. And it's something. If it didn't work out, I just would have went home. And I've said that multiple times. If after a year or two it wouldn't have worked out, then I just would have went back. But I really enjoy it here in the US. Like good living, good people for the most part. When you have 300 million, you're going to run into some some idiots. But for the most part, man, I love it here. And well, I mean, like I said, I've been here for almost half my life, so I would call it home. I mean, Australia's always going to be home, but this is my home as well, you know.
Right, and I totally agree. And North Carolina, I mean, of all places, I mean, it's the happy medium. I'm sure is why you picked it, as far as the series and things like that. But I mean, North Carolina, some pretty laid back folk there, huh?
Yeah, it's good. I like it here. It's just redneck enough to where I can fit in, but not too redneck where I'm like these people need some help. So no, it's good, and we're close enough to a city, so we're close enough to Charlotte, where if you want to get it, like if you want to go into the city and watch a football game or a baseball or basketball or go out to dinner, you can. So it's really good here. I like the weather, and it kind of reminds me of home actually. So I enjoy it here. It's good, and I mean you see a lot of people from up your way in the winter. They have to go to Florida to ride. And it's just, I hate the cold. Like it's almost too cold for me here in the winter. So,
right.
It's just about right.
I was wondering that because I'm looking at relocating myself, and I like the area down around where you're at, the Yadkin area. You're down close to
Lake
Hickory.
Norman. Yeah, close to Lake Norman. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's one thing, the cost of living seems good and everything down there. The people all seem good, but the weather is the only thing that I'm concerned about. I want to go further south. I don't want to go all the way to Florida though, because I don't want to have to drive north every time I go to a GNCC. But anyway, no, that's cool that happened. I mean, it's interesting how, I can remember when you came. I mean, I didn't know who you were. I mean, you came over, what is it, in a 250A class, and then you raced that. You didn't even win that class, but then you got picked up by Suzuki. And and we've talked about this before, and maybe even in an interview online. What year was it, 14 or 11, that you broke your leg? The last year that Suzuki was?
Yeah, 11, yeah.
11. And that, and I gotta say, that right there, you proved something to me since that time, that you're here for the long haul. I mean, is what's cool, because I mean, you came in, you rode that big wave, you had all that support. It was just an odd thing, man, the way in 14, the way that all came down. And I'll never forget, man, the look in your eye. You saw the championship slip away, the pain and the uncertainty. And then, the following year, you don't even have a ride. And it's not because of performance and because you didn't win the championship, I don't think, in any way, shape, or form like that. It was just because of the circumstances of the economy, man. But I mean, you take what you did up to that point and you say, yeah, I can understand why Josh Strang is here, but you've been here since then, and you've climbed some mountains, man. I mean, literally with this career of yours.
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, I guess when I've decided that I'm done racing, I would probably look back on it and think, but man, that's like 2011 is a long time ago. It's like, it is a long, like, you're like, man, it was just a couple of years ago we were doing that, and it's really not. It's a long time ago. A lot has passed since then, and man, I don't know. That year was a good year. Besides that last race where I broke my leg, but then I mean,
and
I'm not going to cry.
That was the championship decider too, wasn't it?
I think Charlie had a big enough points lead.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm pretty sure if I would have won, I think he would have had to get like 10th or something.
Right.
So it was big enough gap. I think there was no way that it would have been the decider, but it still sucks. But and then, I mean, I still got support the next year. It's not like I had nothing. So I just had to relocate a little bit just to make things work. So it sucked. And then I don't think that was the worst injury I had. The worst one was just a couple of years ago, my heel at the 6 days. So that one still gives me trouble now. Not as much today, but it gave me trouble for a few years there after I did it. And I really believe that hindered my results a little bit on the Husky team. And I mean, yeah, so that's what I believe. And it finally, I feel like it's back to where it doesn't bother me or or hinder my riding or anything like that now. I can't go jogging or running for exercise, but I didn't like that anyway, so it doesn't bother me. But that one was a lot worse than the leg, and I think just because I was older, it may have been more mentally damaging than it was than the leg was back in 2011. Just because back then I was still a kid, and I'm like, oh, I'll just bounce back here and keep racing. Where the heel took a really long time to get to where I could even do things properly during the day, and it might have just been a little more mentally fatiguing on me as well.
Right, I can totally see that, and that explains a lot, because I'll be honest with you, when you were with Husky there toward the end of the season, it seemed like, I don't want to say you were depressed, but you were not the chipper, upbeat Josh Strang that that I was used to. You just seemed a little off.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what happens when you don't have results, and you feel probably a little pressure from the team, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to do well, and I wasn't doing well, and I just think it was, and that's why we decided to change. It was time for a change. I wasn't happy racing all that much, and I changed it up, and I'm having a blast, man. It's crazy.
Awesome. Hey, let's talk a little bit more about that, how the change came about, and what the future holds for Josh Strang. We'll do that whenever the 10 Seconds XC Off-Road Cast Quarantine Files continues after this.
So you ready for snowshoe this weekend, Brandon? Oh, yeah. Are you? Yeah. That's cool. Stop, Billy. It's supposed to be pretty nasty this weekend up on Snowshoe Mountain. Stop it, Billy. I'm pretty pumped. Put the brakes on. DP brakes. Good enough to stop my ATV, his ATV, and hell, it'll even stop a Billy.
Did you know you can save up to 25% and receive free shipping on great AMSOIL products with their preferred customer program? AMSOIL also has special pricing arrangements and free shipping for commercial accounts such as trucking companies, loggers, landscapers, and businesses like yours. Or if you have a business and would like to begin selling AMSOIL products, you could qualify to participate in the AMSOIL retail account program. You could become an independent AMSOIL dealer and build and grow your own profitable businesses. For more information, call John Coffey, your full-service AMSOIL dealer, at 877-694-4763 and leave him a message. John Coffey and AMSOIL, your first call for synthetics.
XC Parts Solutions is now available trackside at all GNCCs. Open Friday, noon till 6, Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. XC Parts Solutions is a Moose Racing and Parts Unlimited dealer with a great inventory of Moose Racing products along with needed parts for bikes and quads. If you need raincoats, they got them. Umbrellas, they got them. Elfin ears for those mud races, they got them. Dry erase boards and markers, they have those too. Come by for a great deal on a great selection of Moose goggles and tear-offs used by a number of GNCC racers, located on Vendor Row next to the Moose Racing Transporter. XC Parts Solutions can take orders at the track and it can be shipped right to your house. Late need orders for in-stock products received before noon on Wednesdays can be picked up at the track. Email xcpartsolutions@gmail.com, on Instagram @xcparts, or give them a call at 931-854-1100 or 931-261-2004. And don't forget, all racers will receive rider support pricing from XC Parts Solutions.
And welcome back to 10 Seconds, the XC Off-Road Cast. I'm Rodney Tomlin, along with Josh Strang today. Josh training in his basement down in beautiful North Carolina, and we're sitting up here on an old gravel road off to a side just where I can get internet service today. It's so bad at my house, man. I got satellite internet, and every kid and everybody that's home in America, I think, that has satellite internet's using it, and it's at a cross, so I have to come out and utilize places like this. But regardless, it gives me a chance to get out of the house. I mean, I'm not going in anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm out in the middle of the country. But anyway, Josh, it's been real nice talking to you, man, so far. And we were talking about, we talked about things happening with the leg and, you know, the championships. Let's back up a little bit and talk about your championship years and the kid years when you were a kid and riding that big wave, man. I mean, talk a little bit about that. I mean, because you come over here, that obviously was your goal, your heart's desires. You had, I think, some pretty big shoes to fill. Glenn hadn't won a championship yet, but he was obviously turning heads. And then obviously Shane Watts was somebody, as a fellow Aussie, that you wanted to be able to hold a candle to, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it was like we talked about. It is a long time ago now, so you have to really think about the years and that sort of stuff. But it was good. Those years were good. I was a kid. I didn't have anything to worry about except for going racing, so it was easy. I didn't have that many bills. Didn't have a wife and a kid, which I wouldn't change, but I didn't. So it was just, the only thing I had to worry about was myself and going racing on the weekends. So it was cool, but I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know. I had a good program back then, and I think back then was before a lot of people were training and paying people to train. I felt like I already did quite a bit of stuff, and I feel like that was the edge I had back then. Was I was a little fitter than those other guys, and it seemed to work. But obviously now everyone's got a trainer. I feel like everyone's fitter and everyone's faster. I believe I'm faster than what I was back then too. So it definitely was fun. If I could change it, I would move it all to the present, where I have a wife and kid and I get to share the wins with them instead of, I don't know, just myself. I mean, back then I was living in California, I think, and I'd win on Sunday. If I won on Sunday, I'd go to the motel, fly out Monday, and that was it. Where now it would just be more special. I'd get to spend it with my family and that sort of stuff. It would just be a lot cooler. But it was still fun, and I'm still striving to win a couple of races, so we'll see.
I think you got it in you. I mean, Caleb, as fast as Caleb is and as fast as Thad was, however we're going to look at that, you know, I don't know when he's coming back, if he's coming back this year, what the circumstances on all of that. I will be talking with him soon though. But but you still touted as one of the fast guys out there, you know. I mean, you've proven it. I mean, you just got to be in a position to win. I think probably Freddie Andrews, being as mature as he is and as mature and smart a racer as he was in his career, probably has a lot of advice in that department. Even though the game has changed on the speed factor, you're keeping up with that, I think. But I still think in a lot of circumstances, when it comes down to it, those final laps, that final lap is where a lot of the races are won and lost for riders.
Yeah, especially now. I mean, Caleb and Thad, they go fast early, and then it just, when you get together, whether it's two wheels or four wheels, when there's people getting together battling for the win or for whatever, your times drop. Like, your lap times get faster, and that's what they do. And that's what I feel like my missing piece of the puzzle has been, is early in the race where I would lose contact with the front guys. So it's something I've been trying to work on.
You could always latch on with Stu or Grant.
Yeah.
Those guys are crazy, aren't they?
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I'm closer this year, so it's chipping away and working on some stuff. But yeah, it's for me, it's difficult. I think for everyone, it's difficult. So
everything. It's a different beat. I think everybody struggles that in a different manner. I think, you know, that's probably a pretty good point that you're putting there.
Yeah, and then also it's been 10 years since I won the championship, so there's a lot of 10-year-olds that are now 20 who are super fast as well. So and then you just throw it all in together, and I feel like there's a lot more people who are capable of winning now than there was.
Yeah. So that makes probably being on the podium or even taking a win that much more special then, huh?
Yeah, it does. And unfortunately, a couple of guys are injured, but that's part of racing. So you can't put an asterisk next to any of this stuff because, people get injured all the time racing motorcycles. So to get a result, you have to be on the track. So it doesn't
Exactly.
matter. No one can take it away from me. And I believe I'm fast enough this year where I'd still be battling for podiums. So I'll be excited when everyone gets healed up and we go racing. It'll be more exciting for the fans too.
I think so. And, I mentioned there just before the break, and we mentioned Freddie. Let's talk about the journey. Okay, we know about the Suzuki years. And I talked about mountains that you had to climb. And I remember, what was it, 3-4 years ago, whenever you signed on with the Rockstar Husky team. I mean, it was kind of like you'd gone full circle. That was kind of the hype and the thing that we talked about. You'd gone full circle. You started at the bottom, you worked your way up as a racer, and then you'd gone to the bottom and you've worked your way back up again. Second time around, man, is it sweeter?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. It's you got to put it all into perspective, I guess. And I think the sweetest part is getting over it in this first place. And I think since then, I just had to keep working. So I don't think I ever thought about like thinking that this team is the one that's going to help you get to the top. It's all about how much work you put in, that sort of stuff. But it definitely has so Suzuki was, I almost started at the top, which was the problem.
Right.
I started on Suzuki, which at the time I think was probably the best team in the off-road in the GNCC series. And then, so once that finished, then we had to start up again. And to get with Husky was good. And then I believe I'm on an equally as good team now. So
That's
Babbitt's
awesome.
online. And if you look at it and put it on paper and everything, sure, the other team may have more budget, but in the end, it doesn't matter how much money you spend. Like I said, it's what I get out of it and what the sponsors get out of it. And I believe, for me, I'm giving the sponsors more of what they want on the team I'm on currently than what I was given before. So I'm more enjoyable to talk to. I'm having a lot more fun. I feel my results are better, and if people are after results, then they're getting what they're after. And then also, if someone else is after a guy who will talk to someone when they swing by the truck, then they've got that too. So, and they've got a good bike. So, and I'm not just selling that because they're paying me. I'm telling you that because I really believe it's a great bike, and I think there's more and more people starting to realize that the cost of them and that they are really good. You see more and more of them at the track, and it's cool that people just realize there's more bikes out there than just the European ones or whatever. So to see people on Kawasaki's in the morning race and when I'm going around lapping people, it's cool to see. I'm like, man, there's a Cowie guy. I'm like, that's sweet. Sometimes I know sometimes you go past them and you know who it is, and I'll give them a yell or something, and I'll make sure I stay clear of those guys so I don't take them out when I go past.
So if you don't want to get run over by Josh Strang, get a Kawasaki. So no, that's really cool, man. I mean, I find it really nice. I mean, it's touching, it's heartwarming for me, for you to see you in the place you are right now, in the place that you're at, to be talking about the bikes, the people that you're with and everything. I think that's neat because, man, like I said, you had those mountains. You talked about, the Suzuki went away. You went to, you had some support after that. Then you went to Works Racing. Dude, what was that all about? I mean, was that something you wanted to do, or is it just something that had to happen that way to keep the dream alive?
Hang on, we're having a moment here.
Oh, okay.
You got me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep. That's good. Yeah. So the works thing, that was after the Suzuki deal went down, and at that stage I was living in California, and I think it was November when I figured out the team was no longer running. So at that stage, all the budgets on GNCC are all gone, and then really no one could help me in the RPM team. Mike, the owner, he offered to help me out and got some support. And the only way to do it really was to do work stuff. So, and it, like living in California for me, it was easy. All the races were fairly close, and it was different. And I struggled, but I still enjoyed it. Enjoyed some of the races we went to that were a little more off-roady, but for the most part, they were deserty and dry, which was a little out of my comfort zone, but I was still going racing.
Those are really high-speed races, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think the last few years they got faster and faster. But when I was doing them, they weren't too bad. There was a couple that were fast, but I missed a couple as well. My leg was still healing and that sort of stuff. So I think I only did 6 or 7 of the 10, maybe. I can't remember now, but so it was okay. Wasn't great. And then towards the end of the year, I realized I wanted to get back to the East Coast, and I rented my house out there and drove all my stuff back again, and did the Rocky Mountain deal with, and I actually bought Kawasaki's. So that was the good thing is Rocky Mountain. Yeah, so that one was a real struggle. The KTM deal on the West Coast wasn't bad. I was still getting paid about the same as what I was on. My results weren't good, but the real struggle was coming back and having to buy a lot of stuff and pretty much run my own deal for about 2 seasons. So Rocky Mountain helped there a bunch, because without those guys, I don't know what I would have done. And we got fairly lucky having them support me. We just sent them a random proposal, and they randomly decided to say yes. So,
wow. I mean, yeah, all the right doors open and all the right times.
Yeah, they did.
It's funny how say things happen for a reason. I guess we don't know what they are, and we may never know what that reason was. But maybe you helped somebody out on the West Coast in that work series that gave them the inspiration to do something good in their life or something. Man, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But I mean,
yeah. So that. Oh no, yeah. I was just saying that was 13, 14. I bought my own bikes and set up, and then 14, Randy helped me out with the Rocky Mountain deal as well. So I jumped around there for a couple of years for a little bit, but I was just trying to get my feet back on the ground back here on the East Coast and get back into the swing of things. So
you finally do, and here we are today, man. I mean, you've gone through the rock star. We've talked a lot about that, and where you were in life, where you are now, the family atmosphere. I think that's one thing, that I can always appreciate about the Fred Andrews and the Joey Maurer story that you've got going on. Those two right there, I don't know if they're best friends or not, but they sure seem like, I think they're like brother-in-laws or something like that. And they're like, they're like together all the time. And I mean, they had a good Joey's been successful with a lot of folks, I think, helping out in the realm that he works in. I think Fred's a good manager and a good team leader and things like that as well, as far as that goes. And I think that, like you said earlier, the stories that those guys have, those stories are experience as well.
Yeah, it's been like you said, the family atmosphere, just not with those two guys, but with everyone, Freddie's wife, Amy, and then Denny, and even Doug, the Kawasaki support guy, and also Ryan. Everyone just seems to get along, which is almost a little strange. And I'm not sure why. Everyone seems to get along really well. And Cameron and myself get along really well with Jordan and Mary and Jordan's dad as well. So it definitely has to have something to do with it, because there's always tensions. I believe the whole way through my career, I've probably had tension. I'm trying to think. Someone on the team that I just didn't really gel with all that much. And I feel like here at the Babbitt's team, I feel like everyone just seems to get along fairly good together, and there's not that, like, everyone's there to have a good time. So sure, we're there to go race, but we also have a good time leading up to the race. And I mean, even packing up, the boys, for the most part, after the race, I'm fairly useless and can't help, but they're always cracking jokes and having a good time packing up. And I think that's what's really helped our team with the good results. And like the from the outsiders looking in, looks like we're enjoying what we do.
And you are, and it's good for the sponsors. It's good. I mean, everybody from top to bottom, Babbitt's to Kawasaki, and to hear you talk so passionately about the Kawasaki, I think is also a good selling toy. And I think that you mentioned the more Kawasaki's on the trail. I think that you are a big kind of responsible, you play a big part in that, I guess, as to why there are more Kawasaki's on the track today, I think.
Yeah, I like to think that. For me, I like to think that's the case, because then it's job security for me. So, but they just have a good program. So whether I like to think I'm helping out and helping people realize that they are a good off-road bike, but they also have a sweet deal from the dealership, like the Team Green setup and the cash back the racers get for going to buy bikes. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. But it's like people going out and buy bucket loads of toilet paper. There's just some silly people in the world. So
for people like us, I went the other day. I was going to buy a few rolls. I had to buy the gargantua size that I don't know if I'll be able to use that much toilet paper in a year. You
can start selling it to people who want it.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So no, it's. I mean, yeah, it's. I like to think, like I said, I have an impact on the bike sales at the GNCC, and for me, it's just cool to see, whether it's me or not. I know the Kawasaki people are happy with the improvements or the increase in numbers at the races, and that's all. That's why we go racing, is to put motorcycles on the track. And if you look, I don't know the numbers, so I could be telling stories, but if you look from last year to this year, from what I've seen, there's definitely an increase in green bikes. So
I agree.
The program is working.
It is. It most certainly is. I totally agree 100% with what you're saying there. You mentioned, a minute ago, something about not meshing and gelling well with others on the team. And, that's one thing that, I mean, there are a few riders that have a little bit of fun, and maybe some of it's not so much fun. I don't think there's really any true animosities there, but there are little animosities. I bet that's one thing that we never hear about amongst you guys. I mean, we know that you're fierce competitors on the racetrack, but are there those enemies? Are there those people out there over the course of your career that when you lined up, that's the son of a bitch that I want to beat right there? I do not want to let him get around me no matter what. I can't stand him, what he said coming into the race, whatever the case may be. I mean, are there any of those out there? Were there any of those?
No, I don't think so. We had I really don't think so. I feel like I can get along with almost everyone, and if I don't get along with them, then I'm not going to go cause problems.
So it's just, you don't have an arch nemesis on the racetrack?
No. I mean, I would like to beat everyone, and but I would also like to race with everyone. That's probably more fun. Is being able to battle with someone, not because you don't like them, just because you want to go race. So whether that be Caleb or whether that be Stu or Thad or whoever, I just want to go race them and battle them.
Yeah, there has to be somebody, though, that whenever you have better results, especially consistently, or it gives you that little extra. I got him. You don't have to say who it is, but
I really don't know. So there was a stage when Charlie and I were on Suzuki, probably, and
That had to be
his,
tough, man. I mean, because you.
well, his salary was a lot bigger than mine, and
Oh.
so when I think the 2 years that he was on the team, I think I finished the championship ahead of him both years, and so I think that there wasn't like rivalry there, but it was like
Animosity.
I'm getting paid X amount, and I'm beating him, and I just that made me feel a little better, but that sounds
No, I mean, no, I mean
what's the word?
that's I wondered about stuff like that. I mean, because I'm
Yeah.
sure you and Charlie have a great relationship, and even probably
Yeah.
had a great personal relationship at that time. But the professional end of it, you weren't mad at Charlie for making more money. It was the people that were paying Charlie that you were
Yeah.
upset with.
Yeah, so there's that, and then probably the other person really was probably Wibbs. So him and I had a few, not run-ins. He was just everyone knows he's a different character, and the '08, I was the muddy race in '08. We were coming along at the Penton. There's the side of the hill before the moto track, and we were coming in the final lap, and I was leading, and Wibbs is my teammate. So, and then I'm riding on this gnarly, rooted out, ruddy section on the side of the hill. Wibbs drops onto the road, passes me, does the motor track, beats me to the finish line. And Nally and my mechanic was standing right there, and they're like, what just happened?
Oh man!
And nothing could be. The team didn't do anything because we were teammates. So to put a protest in would have been, I guess, the wrong thing to do.
Right.
But since then, if him and I were in a battle, I wanted to beat him actually, and not because I didn't like him, just because I wanted to beat him. So
because that was just a little thorn in your side, I guess.
Yeah, and there was a couple of races there like that happened. I remember seeing you guys, GNCC put up the other day the ATV battle at Big Buck in '09, I think. And I was thinking about that race, and that race, Wibbs and I battled there too. And I think I beat him by 3 or 4 seconds or something. But I remember that race, that last lap, I was borderline out of control trying to keep in front of him. But I think it was because I just wanted to beat him that bad, just because there was Wibbs. I'm like, he's not beating me. Look, like he wears that big body armor, looks like a big goofball. And but he was a tough competitor. And the only other thing, one day, it was one race in 2011 actually. Wibbs and I were battling again. He ended up winning the race, and I think I was second. But early in the race, he went over he was on a new line, and I took the old line and passed him. But he caught back up, and he was yelling at me, calling me a cheater. and I'm like, no, like I'm the last person who will cut the course and to try and get an advantage.
Right.
And I mean, that's just who I am and how I was brought up. But when Wibb started yelling that at me, I was fuming. And we got to a tight section in the woods, and I stopped, and he rear-ended me. and I turned around and had a couple of choice words to him, and I was like, in short version, I asked him what he said because I knew what he said, and I think I scared him a little bit. And he's like, "Oh, that was the spectator back there yelling." And I'm like, I was hot. But he ended up beating me. I can't remember what happened the rest of that race, but he did end up beating me that race. But other than that, like, he was really the only one he was probably the years that I won, 2009, 10, 11, he was probably the person I battled with the most, him and Charlie. So I guess that's why those two come to mind. Really.
Right. Yeah. They have those little animosities. I mean, when you have that much aggression and that much adrenaline pumping, I mean, things are like that going to happen. And it's funny that, you can laugh about it. I bet you and Paul probably laugh your asses off whenever you guys talk about those days, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I've ever brought that up to him, but I've told a couple of people, and they think it's a pretty funny story. So it's just funny. Like, stuff like that happens a lot during the race. Like, well, not a lot, but like when I stopped and he hit me in the back because I wanted to confront him. Like stuff like that isn't really surprising with the racing we do. Like the year I pulled Buttrick out of the mud hole at that was the Penton 2, I think.
Yeah.
And so it's like a normal race, you would never stop and pull someone out, but that one, if he wasn't getting out, I wasn't getting out, and we both would have ended up off the podium. So the best thing for me to do was help him out, and then like stopping to confront Wibbly there, and then also that race where I hit the deer. I still run into the guy who there was 2 crashes that lap. So the first crash, the guy when he runs into me, he still reminds me that he's the guy who helped me get up and start my bike. And I told him to follow me for the rest of the lap. And I guess he says I went like 200 yards and he couldn't see me anymore. I was gone. So, but like stuff like that you would just be a racing incident. You don't think about until the end of the race driving home, or a couple of weeks later or something. I'll be like, yeah, I forgot that guy helped me out of the mud hole, or Wibbs and I had a conversation out in the woods during the race. Like stuff like that. It happens quite a bit, I think, in our racing, and I'm sure the ATV side of things as well. There's a lot of track out there that you never know what's going on.
There is a lot of that. You've mentioned the ATV side. Are you a fan of the ATV riders? I mean,
yeah, I'm a fan of the racing. Just they're so noisy,
right?
And I've said it before, and I'm not scared to tell them they're too noisy, but they're just noisy, and I don't know. Maybe I have sensitive ears, but it freaking drives me crazy.
Oh, it does me too, man. It does me too. I don't understand. I don't understand why they got to be so loud. I don't understand.
Yeah, I know. But those boys have some good battles. So, and I'll try and get to the parts of the track and watch them, but I never try and walk the track while they're out there, just because they're a lot wider than a dirt bike, and like I said, they're noisy, and I can't stand that. But other than that, no, I get along with some quad guys, and I kind of do my own thing on Saturday, so I don't really see many of them. But
do you ever train or anything with them in the off season? Any of them ever come around to ride or anything with you?
No, none of them ever have, or I have never done much with them. So I think a lot of them go to Florida, and I try and stay up around here. And it just never, for me, it's never really worked out where I've been able to ride or train with them or anything. So
you're not like anti-quad. It's just the way things work out. No, I think that's cool, because I noticed that you were showing. I've heard you mention 2 4-wheels. I mean, a couple different times. That to me shows that you've got respect for those guys, and I think that's pretty cool that you recognize what's going on over there.
Yeah, and they make the GNCC series too. So without them, the series would still be big, but the tracks wouldn't be what they are. So there wouldn't be as much passing as there is. So for us, I think we need the quads so we can have the races that we do. And I think the series needs the quads just because we need more rednecks.
Yeah, there's the boy from down under that we know and love, man. You do like to have a lot of fun, don't you? Do you have 4-wheel drive, man? You go mud running? I
don't go mud running. I do have a nice 4-wheel drive truck, but I wouldn't take that thing to mud. It's too clean.
So you don't go?
But no,
you don't go fishing, go mudding with like Caleb or Stu or any of those guys?
I've been bow fishing with Stu once, and he just burns candles at both ends. He can go all night and then get up the next day and go again. And the day I went with him, I think we got home at like 5 a.m. and I swear it ruined me for like 2 days. And I was like, it was fun, but get me out of there at like midnight and I'd be happy. So I do it a little bit. I enjoy. I'm sitting on a bicycle inside a house, so I really enjoy riding my bicycle when I have the chance. And we have a lot of gravel roads up near Steel Creek. We can park like pretty much at the Steel Creek campground. We could ride gravel roads all day if we wanted to. So these last few weekends, actually, I've been doing that with some friends. So that's been real fun. I enjoy that a lot. I would enjoy doing that more than going fishing or mud bogging or something like that. I get to do enough mud bogging on the weekends at the races. And
I totally get it.
But
did you do any fishing or anything like that as a kid growing up? Were you a hunter or anything like that in Australia?
So no fishing, but I did a lot of, hunting in Australia is a lot different than hunting here. So in Australia, there's so much land, and I'm guessing it would be more similar to Texas kind of land, not so many trees. Don't quote me on that.
Right.
But
safari hunting, maybe?
So we would drive around in a truck and pretty much just shoot whatever.
They call that poaching around here, man.
Yeah. So we can spotlight as well. So, and it's all legal. It's harder to get a gun license in Australia. So I would always go with either my old man or friends who had gun licenses, and it was different, but I enjoyed doing that. I do enjoy being outdoors. I think that's more along the lines of it. So I used to go on family camping trips, and we would go not to the outback, but closer to the outback than where my parents lived. So it was fun, and we'd spend 2 weeks just out, no toilet, no TV, no anything. So it was really off the grid, family camping for 1 or 2 weeks at a time. So it was fun, and I enjoyed doing it. And I think growing up, I was just always an outside kid.
Awesome. And you're an outside kid still, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I do enjoy getting a little bit older now. I do enjoy sitting on the couch sometimes when I have to.
What's Maverick like? Is he like the outside a lot?
Oh yeah, we gotta limit his time outside, because if we didn't, he'd be there all day. So I got there's a little lot next to our house, and we ended up cutting in a walking trail, and if we get him on that, he'll spend 45 minutes on it just going in circles.
He lays down easy at night though, right? Goes right to sleep.
Oh yeah. He's a good sleeper. He has been since he was since he's never. I think we got really lucky, because he's been sleeping through the night since about 12 weeks maybe.
Wow.
I think, yeah. And when he cries, like if he wakes us up at night, that's a rare thing. And we're like, oh no, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Because he'll sleep from about 7:30 at night, and he's normally up about 7 in the morning. So he's a real good sleeper, and we got real lucky. My wife did most of it.
No, really?
Yeah. I changed actually this quarantine, she was giving me a hard time the other day. I've only changed probably 2 diapers in the 4 weeks that this has been going on or whatever. So wow. I got pretty lucky there, but normally
it's time to start potty training, it sounds to me like.
Yeah. But when Cam's at work, I look after him 2 days a week. So I enjoy it. It's fun. Sometimes it's a bit of work, but for the most part, as long as I pay attention to him and try and figure out what he wants, then we're good.
I tell you, as much time as he spends outside, you know what worked for my boy? Pee on that tree. When you got to pee on the tree.
Yeah, that's what I'll be doing.
Just show him the way. So here's how you do this.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome, man. Dude, I don't know how long we've been going on this thing. Probably a while now. You've been going probably close to an hour. I wouldn't doubt if we
almost an hour.
Wow. Well, wow. But I guess, like I said, I had no set thing to talk about. But is there anything else that you'd like to talk about, or anybody you'd like to send shout outs to? Any parting shots?
No, it's cool. It's cool you haven't doing this with. Hopefully some more people get on and do this. I mean, it sucks we're not going racing and that, but it is what it is. And I don't know. There's a lot of people that are going crazy, which is silly, really. I mean, we just got to do what we're told, and if it's not race until middle of May or whenever, then that's what it is. And I mean, keep enjoying, just have fun. There's plenty of things to do. I mean, just before you called, I was dusting in the house. Like, we haven't dusted since we moved in. So, I mean, it's not like this isn't the end of the world. There's a lot of things that we can do. I did some gardening and home projects, and there's plenty of stuff to do without freaking out about all this. And we'll go racing soon.
The next best blessing I think that we could have, and it would shut me down as much, and it would probably freak me out too. But if I knew it was coming and I had a chance to prepare for it and had an idea of what was going on, if the internet and cell phones and everything would just shut off for a few weeks, man, can you imagine just how cool things would be again? I was likening it. This is weird. I've been in construction, in and out of construction, and doing the announcing and stuff like that. One thing that I noticed a trend for a while is that front porches. People didn't even build front porches, but in the last few years, I got back into it and people started wanting front porches. But one thing that I've noticed throughout this quarantine is I've seen more people sitting on their front porch, more moms and more dads and sons and daughters and moms out in the yard playing, that typically you don't see them walking down, the road, walking out in the woods, doing whatever. You're seeing things that I saw as a kid, I mean, spending quality family time. I haven't seen it since the 70s. I'll be completely honest with you. I think it's kind of neat that we get this chance to reflect. I just hope that in the meantime that we don't get conditioned, that people don't totally freak out, and this whole thing, we go to some socialist. I'm gonna get off my soapbox before I've got my own personal opinion about this thing. All I'm saying is watch your back, people. Watch your stinking back, because something's up here. You look, I'll just say this. I seen a statistic the other day from January 1st to April 1st in 2020. There'd been over like 1.4 million deaths due to the seasonal flu, and there'd only been like 45,000 deaths due to the coronavirus. You put that in perspective. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
I actually got, I didn't get in an argument. So I have a Facebook, I have a personal one and a race Facebook or athlete page or whatever. And I posted something my dad shared about it all. And I don't normally post it because I hate getting on there, and I don't argue.
Right.
Like, one reason why I haven't had enemies at the races, because I don't argue. It's not worth my breath. And so I posted this whatever on Facebook, just because I read it and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Is it true? I have no idea, but it's interesting. And some people just feed off the BS, man. It's crazy. And I'm like, the person who'd commented on it and was trying to give me a hard time, I was like, man, you're the reason. That's all. And so I unfriended him and just left, and I haven't looked at it since. And it's like, there's so many, it's just crazy, all this stuff. And I agree with you. I haven't seen so many people outside doing stuff. It is cool to see, and that GNCC may have a problem. They might sell out because like all these people getting cooped up in their house when the GNCC announces a race date, there's people going to be loading up their camper that night. They're going to be like, we're going racing in 3 weeks. I don't care if it's raining, we're going, and we might have, you'll be backed up for miles trying to get people in the gate, I reckon.
Yeah, I hope so, man.
And some people think that people aren't going to go racing, but I don't think so. I think people are really going to want to get out and do stuff. So whether it go GNCC racing or go to the beach, I don't know. I know people are going crazy. There's some people I talk to, and they're just, I don't know, man. They're just mental.
I've heard that word so many times.
Yeah.
So mental. I mean, and yeah, yeah. Wow, it is. I'm just trying to stay. Stay.
So it'll be cool. It'll be cool when we go back racing. I think a lot of people will be excited, and I mean, a break never hurt anyone.
Right.
I mean, it's unfortunate that it's at early in the season and that sort of stuff, but I mean, we'll get to go racing, whether we get to do the whole series or part of the series. We're going to get to go. I believe we're going to go racing eventually. So I'll keep doing my thing and having fun. And it's hard to balance how much riding I have to do and that sort of stuff, because we still don't know when we're going racing. But I'll just keep having fun and doing it until we get the word.
All righty, man. I tell you what, I'm gonna let you go. You've been on that thing for an hour, pedaling your butt off. So,
Yeah.
how much longer do you have?
Well, I had an hour and a half, but this has been fairly easy, so I'll probably might have to do another hour to make the coach happy.
There you go. Well, at least you got things to keep you busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anything else? I mean, I guess that's about all we need to say. I know that you got a great support network. You got obviously.
Got good support, but this isn't a sponsored plug. Even though, I mean, like we talked about Babbitt's and Kawasaki and Monster and everyone who helps out. But I mean, it's just cool for you to call and catch up and talk about it. I think people appreciate that, and that'll be good. So,
hey man, if you got any special news or anything cool that happens you want to share, be sure and let me know, man. Yeah. We'll do it. Maybe if you get some friends over. I'm working on some live stuff right now. And I'm about ready to test it here tomorrow probably. And if I get this thing, I'll start going live a couple nights a week maybe. And maybe we can have some friends over, or maybe we can have some friends on a conference chat and we can have a little bit of fun. We'll get several of you guys on conference chat, because I'm sure you're probably not hanging tight or anything right now with the quarantine and everything. But so let's shoot for something like that. I really enjoy talking with you, man. It's good to see that things are going well for you, and I hope the best for you and the family. And in the meantime, take care of yourself, man.
Yeah. All right, man. Take it easy.
All righty. That's Josh Strang. I'm Rodney Tomlin, and this is 10 Seconds, the Quarantine Files.